Welcome to the beast, I unleash, I'm a motherfucking beast.
What's up, YouTube? So I'm bringing to you the If It Fits Your Macro Guide episode 3, tips for tracking accurately and effectively, and a full grocery haul. What are my diet staples? And I'm going to go over a lot of helpful information for you guys. I've been really excited to make this video because I think this is honestly one of the most applicable episodes that you guys are going to get. So, last video I was talking about people who are tracking macros to live a lifestyle and overestimating when you're eating out and not stressing about it. I think that puts a misconception in some people's minds that it's okay to just overestimate all the time, which it's not. Flexible dieting is flexible, but if you're not somewhat meticulous with it, then it's not going to work. Obviously, because if you are overestimating or underestimating everything and you're off by X amount each time that you guesstimate, then you're going to be off all the time, and those little changes are going to add up. So when you can, be as accurate as possible. Be strict, not restricted. That quote is from Emily Hayden Fitness, one of my favorite role models. One other thing that I wanted to touch on. So macros are not a minimum. Be as close as you can every day. It's not someone gives you macros, like your coach gives you macros, and let's say it's 200 grams of carbs. It's not, oh, I just have to be under 200 grams of carbs every day and I'll reach my goals. No, it's be within maybe 5 to 10 grams above or below. Don't be 50 grams under one day and on the dot the next day, because you're not teaching your body consistency. It's not a maximum. So even if you're losing weight by using it as a maximum, you're still not going to be teaching your metabolism what macro tracking is supposed to be doing, which is consistency. Teaching your body consistency is the key to reaching any fitness goal, whether you want to lose fat, gain muscle, gain weight, maintain, anything. So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys 4 things that you can do to effectively and accurately track your macros and address some things that might be confusing to some people. So the first one is tracking alcohol. So as you might know, alcohol is its own separate macronutrient. It digests into 7 calories per gram versus carbs, fat, and protein, which are 4, 9, 4. So it's different, and it's a different molecule. So it's not technically going to be trackable, but the best way to do it is to account for the calories, because it will digest into calories, and alcohol has its own different kind of effect on the body where it actually slows down just slightly at like the most minimal level, slows down your muscle protein synthesis rate and raises your fat storing rate. Those effects of alcohol aren't really significant unless you're drinking in excess. So as long as you're keeping your alcohol in moderation, it's definitely okay to track it in your macros. And so let's get into how to do that. So first, find out what you're drinking. If you're having let's say a bottle of red wine and you want to track 1 glass, which is like 4 or 5 ounces or something, let's say you search it on MyFitnessPal and you find that 4 ounces is 100 calories for simplicity's sake. So you're going to choose whether you want to take those calories from your fats or your carbs. So if you're taking your calories from your fats, then you're going to divide those calories, 100, by 9. So you'll get about 11 point something. But you're going to track in MyFitnessPal, search for fat, and it should come up as 1 gram is 9 calories, and you're just going to erase the serving size or the serving number and type in 11 or 11 point whatever it is to be as accurate as you want. And same thing with carbs. You're going to divide that 100 calories by 4 and you're going to get 25. That's how many grams of carbs that drink is going to cost you. So I like to think of it as like macro money. How much do you have to spend on your alcohol or on your ice cream? It's a budget. Get everything that you need in, all your micronutrients, and treat yourself with what you have left over. And beware of mixed drinks, because mixed drinks have soda with sugar and everything like that in them. So obviously it counts. It doesn't just go away when you mix it with alcohol, unfortunately. So that makes it even more dense and more tedious to track. So have fun with that. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm just saying that it is a lot of macros to take out of. So if you want to really be serious about living a healthier lifestyle, drinking does have to be in moderation. So that's that. Second thing I want to talk to you guys about is tracking things out of liquids and jars. I'm actually going to show you that in the kitchen. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys this really quick. These are some things that you might want to track out of the jar or pour straight into the pan. Like with egg whites, I like to pour them straight into the pan. So, or peanut butter, like eating it straight out of the jar so you can have everything that's left on the knife or the fork. So how you do that is you put it on the scale. Notice the scale is off. Put it on. You're going to turn on the scale. And it's going to come up as 0 or grams, and it's zeroed. So you can scoop out, or for egg whites instance, you can pour out, and it will say negative grams. I just took it off the scale. So this whole thing is negative 371, but you can do that for like 10 grams of coconut oil or a serving of peanut butter. So that's a really easy way to make sure you're staying as accurate as possible. And third thing that I'm going to go over with you guys is fresh produce and meat. So with anything raw or uncooked, how do you track it? So you might search, let's say, sweet potato, and you might get 50 different entries with 50 different calorie counts and different macro splits, and you might be so confused and overwhelmed, like, what do I do? Here's what you do. You type in, let's say you're searching sweet potato, type that in, and then type the letters USDA. So that gives you the USDA database official record of what the food should be per either 1 ounce or 100 grams or by cup. But if you go into the serving size on MyFitnessPal, it should say, if you click on it, it should have options for 1 gram, 100 grams, 1 ounce, 1 cup, and depending on what the entry is, it might have more or less variable options for you. So that's really nice. And also, should you track your meat raw or cooked? Which is more accurate? Which accounts for the protein? Does the protein get cooked away? Yada yada. So I personally track my meat cooked because I don't like to waste a plate when I'm trying to weigh raw meat, and I don't like touching raw meat as much as I can. So I personally track it cooked, but it's whatever you can be consistent with. So if you only ever have the time to track your meat before it goes on the stove or in the oven, then do it then. Because over the course of, let's say, 3 years, if you're consistent with it, if you track your meat raw every single day, no matter what, and you raise your protein, let's say from like 100 grams to 200 grams for some odd reason, it won't matter because you're going to be getting the same amount of protein because you're tracking it raw or cooked or whatever you do it consistently. Consistency is key. So that is fresh produce and meat and how to track anything that is raw that you get in the healthier section of the grocery store, which is where you should be. Get those micronutrients in. And then my fourth tip is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's just a fun tip that I like to implement when I'm having a craving or I have something that I really want to eat and don't know when to fit it in. So that fourth tip is to track dessert first. Now what I mean by that, I do not mean to eat it as breakfast. That would be gross. I can't stomach sugar in the morning. But what I mean by that is that whenever you have that craving, whether it be at 6 in the morning or at noon, if you have plenty of room left in your macros early on in the day, plug it in then and build your day around it. So let's say I want Arctic Zero and Oreos and cereal topped with syrup and sprinkles, and I want that all at night so I can go to bed with my sweet tooth fulfilled. So I plug it in at, let's say, 11 in the morning. So that craving is out of the way, I'm guaranteed that meal, and I plan the rest of my day around that. I love implementing this tip because it utilizes flexible dieting for what it is. So you can fit in what you love while still being really strict and not be restricted. Strict, not restricted. Again, one of my favorite mottos, mantras about flexible dieting. I don't know, sayings, but whatever. So, and that is all I have for you guys for the tracking accurately and effectively. So let's move on to the grocery haul so that you guys can see things that help me hit my macros better and that might help you guys hit your macros better. So I'll see you guys in the next clip.